Welcome to San Joaquin Spotlight, a public affairs program featuring conversations about life in the central San Joaquin Valley. This program is brought to you in partnership between KFSR 90.7 FM and CMAC Fresno. I'm your host, Sevag Tateosian. The studio, it's buzzing with activity again here at the San Joaquin Spotlight program. We've got bleachers in the studio, we've got pictures of food and salsa, and we've got the one and only Craig Scharton. Craig, welcome to the program.
Hey, always great to see you. How are you, Sevag?
Good, good. I say that because we've been on radio together, we've been on TV together, we've been at City Hall together. Now we got to take a trip around the world together.
Parties and skyscrapers together. Yeah.
Parties and skyscrapers together. Welcome to the program.
Always good to see you.
So there's been a change with your life lately, and we're going to talk about that change. No more going into that beautifully shaped building in downtown Fresno called City Hall, huh?
No, well, not anytime soon. I had to go in there to do some permit stuff for my new pub, but that's been about it.
Now you're the owner of a pub. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's called Peeve's Public House and Local Market.
Can I stop you there and ask you where the name Peeve came from?
My dog is named Peeve. So ever since I was a kid, when someone explained what a pet peeve was, I always thought it would be funny to have a dog named Peeve. And so here I am at 52. I followed through on it. And so it's Peeve's Public House and Local Market. We're kind of an American-style public house. We're not trying to be Irish or English. It's not ye old public house. It's just a casual place where you can have a good meal and hang out with friends or meet new friends and get some really good food and lots of fun and entertainment.
It's a little different for you. I mean, you went from political stuff to now actually running your own business. How did that happen? I mean, did you just wake up one day and say, I want to run my own business?
Well, no, I was really winding down at City Hall. A lot of the stuff that we got started was pretty far down the road. We got the downtown plans for the neighborhoods and Fulton Corridor going, the Peeve through Downtown Fresno Partnership got that going, Fresno Food Expo. The big initiatives that we had going were getting pretty far down the line. And I like getting things going. I'm not into really details or management. So I was thinking of doing some other things, and I heard that Fresno Brewing Company was going to close, and I went into a panic, and I'd seen great crowds and really great community there, and I kept saying to myself, someone needs to do something to keep that open.
Little did you know.
And I have a rule when you hear someone ought to, that you got to look in the mirror and go, oh, well, all right, I'll just jump in and do it.
And so any regrets?
No, I love it. I've run 2 downtown associations. I was a president of California Main Street. We have 40 downtown revitalization organizations. I've been fortunate enough to work with hundreds of small business owners, downtown small business owners. And so it's kind of fun to be doing it.
It sounds like this is a natural fit for you. I mean, you're good with people, you love downtown, you have a passion towards the Fulton Mall, and now you have a restaurant on Fulton Mall. It kind of worked out well for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always a question mark. I mean, I don't play the risk. I mean, every business is a risk, and this one certainly is. We're doing a great job of getting people, but I'm still learning the business part of it, to be really honest. I'd rather go in and say I don't know something so that I can learn it, rather than go in thinking I know everything and I miss some obvious, pieces of running a business.
We're going to see a picture in a few seconds about how crowded the place gets. Actually, let's go ahead and look at that picture now. I mean, look at that. It's full of people back there. I mean, It looks like they're having a great time. And when you see this, does that thought come into your mind that people always say, nobody goes downtown?
Oh, I think it all the time. And not only are we full, and during the day as well as at night, but it is the nicest group of people that you can possibly imagine.
What I liked about this picture is that it's a mixed group. I mean, It's not just one particular demographic. You've got mixed groups all over the place.
Well, that's a funny misconception that people have. I'm glad you brought that up. They tend to think that it's going to be young people going back to downtown. And really, there are people that like urban living in all the different age groups. And so, whether it's, we have a lot of baby boomers and empty nesters that are moving into the lofts downtown, living right next to a 26-year-old with purple hair who's, doing web video or something like that. So it really is a broad spectrum. And so we really appeal more to the people that want that urban experience, want to be in a vital downtown place.
Somewhere along the line in this equation of success in downtown comes the opening of Fulton Mall. Now, you've been criticized, and it's no secret that there have been critics that have said, why is the city opening it up? They should just let it go. Now, is your chance now to defend yourself? Because the vocal group has been out there saying, don't open it. I agree with you. I think it's a fantastic move to open it and let cars drive through. And some of the others, I would point to some of the other cities that allow that kind of activity. But you're the expert. Why is that a good move?
If it were a high school debate on were public malls good for revitalizing downtowns in any American city, it would be an open and shut case. If you look at facts, there is nothing to, there's no factual basis for keeping the mall. Just in round numbers, there were about 200 that were put in. We were the second.
We were the second?
Yep. Kalamazoo, Michigan was the first.
How is Kalamazoo, Michigan doing, by the way?
They reintroduced traffic, and after they reintroduced traffic, it is now the highest rent because it's the most desirable space, and they can't build enough housing up above those shops because the more they build, the more people come in. So even though they were first and their motto was America's Mall City, they realized 10 years before us that you had to reintroduce traffic.
I was in San Diego the other day, and I was in Little Italy in San Diego, and people were walking. There was cars driving. It was packed. Do you think we'll ever get there in the Fulton Mall?
Oh, yeah. Well, and we know that of the 200 cities that put them in, 185 or so have come out because they didn't work in other places. But we also know that when you reintroduce traffic, that they spring back to life almost overnight. That's like putting water on dry soil. It's going to spring back to life. So 90% of the cities revitalized within the first 4 years of putting traffic back into downtown.
Yeah. And one of the other things I want to bring into this equation are the visionary developers. I mean, sometimes in town, developers have a bad name, and we're just being honest.
Yeah.
But you've got some pretty visionary developers that are really investing a lot in downtown Fresno. How important is that, and why do you think they're doing it?
Well, if I've been involved with the investment, getting them to come into downtown. And I can tell you that if my sales pitch was, we're going to keep everything exactly like it is, we wouldn't have had one investor. They're coming in because we're making changes, and we're making smart changes, and they've seen it happen in other cities. So we're getting a lot from Los Angeles because they saw what happened in Burbank. They had a pedestrian mall just like ours. They were the laughingstock of the country. They reintroduced traffic, 2 lanes, 2-way, good parking, and Burbank is now packed every night of the week.
Are there plans? I mean, that's one of the things I was thinking about, because by the way, I had a latte. For the record, I was at your place the other day. I had
and
a latte.
You paid for it?
I paid
so
for it.
No
yes.
conflict of interest?
No. I definitely paid for it, and it was delicious. But while I was sitting there enjoying that latte with some good friends, I was thinking about the parking and how that would look. So there's going to be parking in front of establishments?
Right. There'll be parallel parking. So we have enough width to save as much of the mall as we can so that we have great wide sidewalks for pedestrians. We're going to have great wide sidewalks for outdoor dining. All of the art stays downtown within the area. The fountains get rebuilt. We keep 80%, roughly 75–80% of the fountains, the arbors, and the trees. So we're really not, it's not like we're ripping it out.
Yeah.
There is a small road that's going to go through that's going to give visibility and circulation back into our region's main business district.
One-way or two-way road?
Two-way.
Two-way road.
Yeah. One way is frustrating for people. If you've ever been in a city where you want something over there and the road makes you go over there, we want to remove frustration. And the best way to do that, two-lane, two-way, and right angle intersections.
Everybody who comes on San Joaquin Spotlight gets a magic wand. So I'm giving you this imitation magic wand. It's invisible.
Right.
If you needed one thing to make not only your restaurant, but downtown successful, and you wave this magic wand, what are you asking for?
It's opening the street.
That's the number one.
That is, and I know no one's going to believe me till it's done. It's one of those unfortunate things. But I can show you city after city, and once I can give you directions to my front door, and you can drive down Fulton and say, hey, there's Peeves, I've heard about that place. And then you park, and then you walk back. You're now in a fully functioning Main Street environment, just like the Tower District.
So speaking of Peeves, we're going to get ready to show another picture from your establishment. But before we go there, is this a bar or a restaurant? What is this?
It's really a restaurant. We're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We open at 7 in the morning, and we close at 11 at night, Monday through Saturday. We're petitioning to stay open later and include Sundays, but for now, that's our schedule.
Let's go ahead and show this picture now to our audience members of, this is a breakfast menu.
This is our menu. Our menu changes every day at every meal. And so when you walk in, you go over to the chalkboard, you see what's there. It's very limited because we want to be seasonal, we want to be local, we want to make everything from scratch and make sure that it's really good. So, for example, the other day, someone brought in some fresh pressed pomegranate juice.
Oh.
And so we had some really great brand beef that we'd purchased, and we braised the pomegranate, the beef with this pomegranate juice. That wasn't on the menu, and we want to be able to react to those kinds of things. If we go to the farmer's market and see something spectacular, it's going to be on that menu that day. So that's why it's a little bit different. We have a lot of flexibility. We really are chef-driven. We have 2 fantastic chefs, and we want them to be inspired by the local food that we grow and make here.
As far as taste goes, the local food, how important is that?
Well, it's what I believe in. It's what we believe in. It's part of our ethics. So I believe in supporting local businesses, putting your money into those helps grow our economy, and it's just the right thing to do. So I think we grow the best food in the world, and so why not focus on the best food that we have around us? Just in Fresno County, we have over 300 commercial crops, so there's no time of year that we can't be utilizing what we're growing right here.
Before we go to the next picture, I want to ask you about this market that is also going to be into this equation. What's happening with this market?
Well, and the name is Peeves Public House and Local Market, and the local market portion should open on December 8th. We had a nice response from the community. We did a Kickstarter campaign to help get that open, and it's the first that we've found that will be a market that only carries local food. So you'll get local produce from Tia D. Willie Farms, KMK Farms. You can pick up Rosa Brothers milk, Just Got Laid eggs,
wow.
Bravo cheese. You can get local Enzo or Bari olive oil. You could get some great Armenian food through Valley Lavash or High Bakery or Ohanian's Basturma.
Incredible, yeah. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
You're making me hungry too, by the way.
Exactly. So it'll all be there, and you can come in and think of this. Not only can you go and do all the grocery shopping for the week, but then you just walk right next door and you get a nice craft beer from one of our local microbrews.
Let's take a look at this picture now that you have of the marketplace. What is going on over here? Because
well, that's the beef I was just telling you about. That is grass-fed beef. It was braised in pomegranate from Black Crow Vineyards. They just pressed it right in the orchard the day before they brought it into us. And that's on a puree of local cauliflower from K&K Farms.
And stuff like that, how has that been with the people who are coming and eating there? I mean, you know, there are some people who are very picky eaters.
Yeah.
And there's some people like me who, if that was on the menu,
Yeah.
you better believe I'm going to eat that.
Well, yeah, we probably skew more to the adventurous eater. But you know what we're finding is we do really, you know, reasonable sized portions. It's all made from scratch. And what people are saying is, I feel better after I eat this food. It doesn't even have to be health food. It could be, you know, fried chicken or, you know, pork chops or whatever. But everything's made from scratch, so you're not getting the high amounts of sodium or preservatives in your food. Even if you see lasagna on the menu and you go, well, every place has lasagna. We made the lasagna noodles. I mean, it's from scratch. I don't know if your mom cooked that way, but it's like everyone's, well, at least wish their mom cooked food.
People listening to the program right now are watching this on CMAC, and they're thinking, you know, why would I drive to downtown Fresno? Why would I deal with the parking situation? We've heard it all, right?
Oh, sure.
And you've heard it all. But why would they give you a chance? What is your comment to them?
Well, it's already happening, as you showed in the picture. I mean, we're, you know, whether we're doing everything right, I still don't know that, but we're drawing people in every meal, every evening. We have a lot of events, and they're responding to it. I think the local only thing is really very important to a lot of people. I think the way we're presenting it, you know, usually when you say farm to table, it means you get less food and a higher price. And we're doing the opposite. We're giving you nice comfort food at a really good price. I think the highest anything's been is $16. So we'd rather have people that want to come and eat 2 times a week rather than saying, oh my gosh, we have to budget. You know, I don't know if we can afford to go to the restaurant this month.
Speaking of budgets, I'm big on my budget, and people will laugh because I take my own lunch. But someone like me, why should I come visit you at your restaurant? I mean, am I important to come?
Absolutely, and it's people like you that are showing up because you're going to go in there, you're going to see someone new, you're going to be standing next to someone else, you get introduced. I mean, we just see these connections happening all the time. And that's really the beauty of an American public house is, you know, that's how our country started. It was people going in and arguing about the mall and arguing about water policy and, you know, the arts and music and all this stuff going on. And it's like a circus of life. You know, you can stand at one end and just, there's a couple flirting over here and, you know, someone else is taking their daughter out for their birthday and, you know, all these things are going on and it's just the stuff of life. That's why you'd be there.
Speaking of, and I've been there, and I do want to go back because the atmosphere is nice, and I want to support not only you, but the other businesses down there because, you know, I don't think people realize who don't get into the business or aren't in business, the risk that you're taking. I mean, here you had a comfortable job at City Hall, and now you're going on the other way, and you love your job, but it comes with challenges. There's a risk there. And so I'm going to go support it. And let's talk now about the restaurant itself. Could I rent the place out if I wanted to? I mean, let's say that I'm having a birthday party and I have 50 of my friends coming. Could I rent the place out, or are you not there yet?
Well, what we're doing is, you know, we're 2 retail spaces next to each other. So the public house is about 2/3 of the space, and the public market or the local market is about 1/3 of the space. And we're going to utilize that for our special events. So you'll be in this market with all this great, you know, reused wood, and it'll look really cool. And we'll be able to do long table dinners and receptions in there. So we can keep the rest of it open. But a lot of people are just having events right in the middle of the pub itself. The doctor from Community Medical Center said, I want to show a film. Can we show it there? We've got a projector on the ceiling. And we said, sure, what the heck, pick an open night. We have someone else who just called and said, I'm with the UCLA Alumni Association. Can we watch a football game there? Sure, what the heck? Watch. We've got a group of fans of English soccer, the Arsenal fans, and they come at 7 in the morning on Saturdays to watch their soccer team live. And we've got 30 or 40 Gooners is what the fans of the Arsenal are called. And they're there eating. We try to do bangers and mash, and we did Scotch eggs one morning, sort of a traditional English pub food. And they're there cheering on their soccer team and singing the old fight song, and it's a blast. So if everyone's bringing their party in, it's always got a fun atmosphere.
Is there like, let's say that someone like me, I'm going to have a party there, and I'm on a budget. Can I tell you, Craig, give me $3, $4 per person or $8 per person, and then can you come with a menu to me? Or is it, because there's some places that won't do it in town. And how is your place?
You know, my goal is always to say yes. I want to find a way to make things work. So when you come in, we've just had people that say, I want to throw a birthday party there, and we say, okay, why don't you pick out a keg of your favorite beer and we'll buy it and we'll sell it that night, and that'll be the special beer, and that's enough for them to throw a party. Or you could pick out a movie, or we could do a band, or you name it. If you give us something, we're going to find a way to make it work.
How does that make you feel when you're in the place and there are times where I know you're sitting there looking around and you're thinking, what?
You know, from doing years of downtown events, something I learned was that I always took a moment to stop. And if I had staff working with me, I would get them to stop with me, and we would look out at people having fun, and that we'd take that moment to just soak it in as our reward. And I still do that now. I'll look out and I see all that great stuff of life happening right in our downtown, the only place open at night on the Fulton Mall, and it's just full of life, and that's the reward.
Where do they park? Because, you know, there's been letters to the editor.
Oh, it's horrible.
There's been, you know,
it's horrible.
There have been people who have said there's no parking.
I can't give you directions to my front door. I mean, you know, it is really hard to get to. It is really hard to park there. And in spite of that, you know, it's pretty full. The easiest place to park at night and on the weekend is there's a garage at Van Ness and Merced. You enter on Merced Street. And at night and on the weekend, it's free. It currently says permit only, but they're going to put up a sign that says free parking after 5 and on the weekends. It's a great, open, well-lit garage. There are also meters right around Van Ness and Merced, and they're free at night and on the weekends as well. And we have a big, well-lit olive tree right outside our door, so we're pretty easy to find once you get on the mall.
So you mentioned olives, and it leads me directly to this place I'm going, because I make olives. But let's say I want to have a competition with your chefs.
Aha, we're game.
No questions asked.
Yeah, all you have to do is be able to talk smack. Because no matter how silly the competition is, we all just abuse each other and harass each other all the time. So as long as you're willing to bring your game.
And do we have to go there to eat? I mean, can we just have coffee, or can we have just a beer and just hang out there? I mean,
yeah.
There are places, though, I must say, that people are always looking at the table, and if you're not eating or drinking, you know, it's that, okay, can I help you with anything else?
Yeah, maybe if you were there every day, like sleeping on the bench or something, we might get you to move along, but that hasn't come up yet. You know, we have 75 beers, 12 on tap. We promise every local microbrewery at least one tap handle, so we're back to supporting our locals. We don't have wine yet, but we're in the application process, and I think we'll be the first place that has a 100% local wine list. So I'm excited about that too. I love our local wineries.
You know what? I'm going to play a little bit of instigator here and ask you this
what,
question.
You?
Yeah, me of all people. We're running out of time, but I want to ask you, why are you on this local thing? Because, you know, you can get wine and beer and food and all kinds of other stuff much cheaper if it was produced somewhere else in America and in another country. But you're focused. I mean, ever since I've known you, you've always been focused on the local. Why?
I love this place. I think we do great things here. And I think once we recognize all the great things we have here, our ag, the companies that make food at the Fresno Food Expo, our local wineries, the awards they're winning, the local microbreweries, I think it changes our self-view, our self-image. And once we start realizing how much good there is, I think everything else works itself out.
Catering. Do you do it? Can we order? Can we find the menu online?
We'll do, like I said, we'll say
You're
yes.
the yes guy.
We'll
You're the yes
figure
guy.
out a way to do whatever it is that you want. And maybe that's from working in City Hall and hearing no a lot of the time. Or I want to be able to say yes to people. And you know, there's always a way to make something work.
How can people find out more information? Where's the place located? What's your telephone number?
Yeah, our telephone number is 573-5735. That's very
interesting
easy.
number.
We're at 1243 Fulton Mall. The best way to find us right now is on Facebook or Twitter, Peeve's Public House or Peeve's Local Market, depending on what you're interested in. And then our website will be at peevespub.com.
Greg, thank you so much for coming on the program yet again.
It's always a blast.
We've been on radio together. We've been on TV together. We've been at City Hall together. And pretty soon we should travel around the world together.
I think I'm ready.
And we got to cook together, by the way.
Oh, any day. Bring it on.
That's all for this edition of San Joaquin Spotlight. To the volunteer crew that made this production and every production possible, thank you. To our fans at KFSR 90.7 FM listening to us on their radio, or to our audience members watching us on CMAC, thank you. Our guest this week has been Craig Scharton. Used to be at City Hall. Now he's found himself a business, Peeve's Place in downtown Fresno. Craig, good luck to you on your endeavor.
Thank you, Sevag.
That's all for this edition. Tune in next week for a new edition.